If you love running, but you're not quite getting the results that you want, you're not fast enough, or you don't think you can get the distance that you're trying to progress in, or maybe you're starting to get runner's injuries and it's really starting to set back, listen onto this video because I'm going to tell you the main advantage of strength training to improve your running performance, and we're going to start right now. Hey everybody, it's Jason Davis here at Body Remastered. This is a great topic and I'm really glad I'm talking about it now because I want to help you guys to improve your running performance. And no one ever mixes up running and strength training, but actually they can both help each other if you program it in the correct way. Before we go any further, if you are new to this channel, then please subscribe and click the bell button because we're going to be always releasing every week great information to help you build, strengthen and tone your body, and we want to help you all the time, so please don't miss out on a thing. So let's talk about running. In the end of the day, running performance ultimately is affected by your cardiovascular system. You know, your ability to utilize oxygen and use that energy to make an efficient run. But did you know there is another major factor that affects our ability to run? It affects our running economy, it affects our running efficiency, and more importantly, it keeps you running for longer. If you love running, you're going to be wanting to run for a long time in your life. And if you want to do that, you need to incorporate strength training because it's going to avoid those injuries that often runners get. And I've already got one already, I get shin splints, and you don't want them because it really can impact your running. It can make you not enjoy the actual sport and process of running, which is not what you want. And I'm going to stop that right now. So first of all, what is strength training? Strength is about improving the strength in your core muscles that are involved in the run. And believe it or not, there's loads of muscles that are involved in the run. Not just your lower body, but your core and many upper body parts as well. And that is going to help you to run and actually lead you to running longer distances and for a longer period of time. I'm going to let you know 5 reasons now why you should incorporate strength training as part of your overall running program. Here we go. Number 1, it helps you maintain the body fat that you've already achieved. If you've reduced your body fat through running or walking, and we know they're great at burning calories, and that's great, but you want to keep that weight. If you just rely on cardio alone, sometimes you will fluctuate and the body sometimes wants to go back to its original weight. Use strength training to build a little bit of lean muscle, whether it be in the legs or wherever you want it to be, and we'll talk about where it's best for running. And by doing that, muscle will help you increase your basal metabolic rate. That means you'll start burning calories even at rest. That is going to be great if you reduce your body fat percentage through the running that you've carried out, and now you want to keep that body fat percentage. The muscle will help you do that. Ultimately, muscle uses a lot more energy than fat does at rest. So even at rest, you will transform your metabolic rate, and it increases the chances that you will not go back up and increase your body fat percentage after all that hard work you put into running. The next reason is that you will improve your running efficiency. So there will be less waste. More of the actual action of running will be put into running, and that will increase your performance and also increase the distance and the pace of the run itself. I'm in no way going to say that your run performance ultimately is going to be affected by strength training. Absolutely not. It's your cardiovascular system, it's your stroke volume, it's your cardiac output, how much you utilize oxygen. But strength training will help you actually make sure that you're using the energy correctly when you're running. Greater strength does equal greater endurance. I'm going to say that again. Greater strength does equal greater endurance. Why? Because ultimately, if a person's stronger in the leg, that means they can produce more muscular power in the run and therefore get to a greater distance, a greater speed, potentially in a less amount of time than a person who has less strength in the legs. So the stronger you are, the faster you will be over any given distance. So never forget the importance of muscular strength when you're running. It will improve your runs, there's no doubt about it. The next reason, guys, reason number 3 is muscle activation. You'll improve it. Think about it. There are certain muscles that are involved in a run. Your glutes are involved. That's your buttocks. You've got your legs, the hamstrings and the quads are involved. Your core is involved. If one of them is weak, you're going to have issues potentially in your run. Not only your performance is going to be maybe not as good as it needs to be, but also you're going to have injuries. You're going to develop injuries, and the way your form of your run is not going to be efficient. I'll give you an example. Let's take the glutes. The glutes are a great example. Now, sometimes we over-focus our leg strength, but if we have weak glutes and all the primary muscles of the glutes, then what's going to happen ultimately is that your potential running performance and speed might be affected. You know, at the end of the day, the glutes act actually as an anchor for the pelvis. They actually provide stability for the entire run. So they actually enable alignment when you're running in that forward motion. And it reduces the chance of a forward rotated pelvis, which ultimately is going to give you a backache as you run the further distance that you go. So don't ignore your glutes. I'll give you another example. The hamstrings and quads. The hamstrings are the group of muscles at the back of the thigh, whereas the quadriceps, the quads, are at the front of the thigh. And most cases for runners, they end up with having an overdeveloped quad, but not such developed hamstrings. The hamstrings are really key. Think about it when you're in the running motion. When your feet make contact with the ground, there's a shock absorption process going on there. You impact with the ground. And hamstrings are really important as an absorption process for that impact. They actually help control the contraction and the stabilization of the knee. And that's sometimes where people get a lot of problems with their knees when they're running. It's a big known fact because they're not developing their hamstrings enough. Without your hamstrings and many other muscles, potentially in the calf as well, you will ultimately potentially have a knee that would collapse every time you put in contact to the ground. So don't underestimate the hamstrings. Okay, the fourth reason, guys, is that you are going to miss out on running for longer in your life. Having strength training part of your regime and improving the muscles will mean you can carry on running for a longer period in your life. It really prevents injuries, and there's so many injuries when it comes to running. Runner's knee, Achilles tendonitis, shin splints, which is what I have, and it goes on and on. You can prevent these by just incorporating a bit of strength training. As I said before, imagine running as a car, and there's shock absorbers in a car for when it lands on any bump that you go over in a car. The same goes for running. When your feet make contact with the ground, it needs the muscles to control that contraction and that absorption of that shock. If the muscles aren't there or are underdeveloped, guess what's going to get the shock? It's your ligaments, your bones and your tendons. You don't want that. That's not good. So have some muscles as protection when you run. It will allow increased shock absorption. It will give you biomechanical power, so you'll be great at running uphills. As I said, it will protect your soft tissue and your connective tissue, and it will actually manage joint stress as we start fatiguing during the run. You know, when we run for a long time, we start to fatigue, and that's where our form starts to slip, and we're most at risk from having issues with joints and causing issues with tendons and ligaments, etc. So have your muscles in place to protect you at those points. So how do you incorporate strength training? What's the best regime? Because if you're a runner and you really want to get running and you want to improve running performance, that's going to be the core of your program, of course. But there's no reason why you can't incorporate a bit of strength training into that. First of all, going any further, check out www.bodywindmaster.com because we've got a blog on this exact topic, an article that goes in much more detail than this video. And if you subscribe to Remastered Unlocked, you'll see some of the resources that we provide, and there will be one coming up soon for runners and how to build a really great strength training program. Ultimately, you want to concentrate on the big multi-joint lifts. That's what's important for a runner, what we call functional strength, because it's strength that is supporting a functional application, running. So things like deadlifts, especially for the hamstrings and the back. Think about squats for that overall leg development and musculature. Think about lunges. All those core movements should definitely be part of your training program. But it's not all just about the multi-joint compound moves. There are other key moves that are important for a runner. Things like planks, which are key for that abdominal strength. Things like push-ups for overall, because your upper body supports you in running, believe it or not. That is really core to your form. Things like calf raises, that's also key. Don't forget your calves, because again, they're one of the first muscles in conjunction with your hamstrings to take the impact force when your foot hits the ground during running. So at Body Remastered, we recommend 3 workouts within your week, 2 to 3, if you can't manage 3, 2 is fine. 2 or 3 workouts on strength training. while you also incorporate running as your primary focus. Your first strength training exercises, let's say you start on Monday as an example, will all be about body weight exercises. And if you look at the wrong way, if you look at the information I just tagged up, it will give you an example of some of the typical exercises that you can do that are body weight. It's a great way to start the week to improve that functional strength. Okay, the next strength workout, which you might do on a Wednesday, don't do strength workouts consecutively without any rest. Make sure you're running in between, but I'll show you the breakdown. But then incorporate full body exercises, things like the deadlifts, things like the squats, and we give 2 examples of different ways you can throw in different exercises as a mix-up between the upper body and the lower body. So check out the actual workout program that we have on the blog article, and if you want more information, come to me and ask, please, because at Bodyweight Masters we really want to help your functional strength. We're all about strength training, we're all about muscular development, we're all about the value of muscle. Whatever the sport may be, whatever you want to achieve in life, muscle plays a part in that. So head on to the website and check that out. When we talk about strength training, we're talking about low repetitions, long rest periods. Because remember, we really want to signal the central nervous system to get stronger. It's a little bit different from muscular development and muscular growth, which is hypertrophy, which we've talked about in our other videos. We don't want that, because if you have too much muscle mass on you, that's probably not going to help you when you run. And that's why often sometimes people say running is different from muscular or bodybuilding or muscle growth. But we're talking about functional strength here. So low repetitions, full body workouts, multi-joint, things like the deadlifts, things like the squat, etc. High rest intervals in between. And you want to focus on that weight, whatever the weight may be at the start, to improve that, improve the intensity throughout the workout, so you're really starting to get some improved strength in your legs, your core, and your upper body. So that's all, everybody. Thanks for listening to this video. If you've got to this point, I really hope you have. Please subscribe to the channel, because we're not going to stop. We're going to keep giving you great information. And if the videos so far are not up your alley, there will be some videos coming soon, no doubt about it, that really will be useful for you. We want to help you, so please comment in any information below. Even if, try it out and test it. See if it works. If you've never incorporated strength training, see if it works when you're running. Remember, it takes a bit of time to develop your strength, but you will see the advantages very quickly, believe me. On that note, I'm going to wish you the best. Enjoy your next run. I'll speak to you soon. Thanks. Bye.